That world totally exists.
I'd say that DIY is do it yourself, but the self doesn't necessarily have to be individual. It can also be a collective self. Usually, I think that most things that are called DIY are not really the work of one single person, but rather a community of people who have shared values about trying to create alternatives to dominant institutions that usually are the ways that people hear and read about and find out about music.
For me, it means like playing music with like some like guidelines for how you do it, like playing like all ages shows, playing for a reasonable door price, like enough to like help you cover gas, and you know the overhead if the venue has any kind of overhead, and like not like
it just means you're more involved in what's happening. And to me, DIY a lot of times has to do with obviously with music or film or art, not so much with working on the home. Although that's really cool too when you can fix your own sink.
Full artistic control of what I do is the thing that makes my job a good one to have. I love what I do because I get to create art and present the things that I do in the way that I choose. If somebody started trying to tell me what to do, it wouldn't be fun for me anymore, and therefore it wouldn't be worth doing, I love what I do for a living. It's really cool. And it's exciting, but I mean, there's lots of kind of privation to it. I never go home. I have weird relationships with friends and family, and I never shower enough, and all this, and I eat shitty food and all this kind of thing. And all of that's counterbalanced by the fact that I get to be creative for a living.
Nobody really wanted to put out our music, and they just want that to, or I guess it was just me, but nobody wanted, I just wanted to put it out. I just wanted to get out there right away, and I didn't want to have to fucking try and make something that somebody else is going to see future profit in, and just want to make something
That we're allowed to not get paid, and we still show up.
We show, will this check support me for? Will this for lose my job? Without my job, where's the rent? Should we all just call it quits? The dinner date or cops rock? Playing fuck is all you got. And your life is that stop. And all your dreams are up.
LAX is about people who are built up from nothing. We're going to drop big murphys and mighty bobcones who are built up from nothing. And we have to go to American royalty, the West Coast, and bow down to them and say, do you think we are pretty enough to take prom? And that's the American dream. Do you think I'm pretty enough?
There comes this code of ethics along with it that I really like. I feel like a lot of people in the DIY scene are like modern day knights in a way, because there's this, it's not a strict code of ethics, but it's a sort of a fluid code of ethics that meanders and fits with the times in a way, and generally it's about not being a dick and being the human being that you can be and making good connections with people.
A DIY band is generally politically correct, meaning they're cautious and aware of homophobia and sexism and racism and gender inequality and all the things that people care about. But some bands have totally different opinions. As long as they screen print their own T-shirts, then they're DIY, and they can sing about their ex-girlfriend being slut or whatever, and that's okay.
I'm how can be self-critical. It's a really good thing, and we can talk about the realities of hey, there's no women in a lot of these bands. There's no people of color in a lot of these bands. There's no minorities in a lot of these fucking bands. Why is that? Let's take a look at it and let's think about it.
Some people follow some kind of philosophy or religion, this is my version.
I hope that this contributes to building something. Maybe it will not end up being particularly dangerous and revolutionary, let's say. Maybe DIY punk is not going to be the source of what finally tears down capitalism. I suspect that it won't. But it at least is it's a way to practice alternative values in a way that's very important to me, even if they can't even if we can't by ourselves replace the dominant values. We at least get a shot at trying to treat each other differently.
Then there's the people that are shocked that strangers will let you stay at their house. That's always a big funny thing. I don't think I could do that. Just go on tour and try to get a stranger to let you stay at their house, or whatever. And,
yeah.
It's really not weird, or my parents saying you let these bands stay at your house? And yeah. like, what if they steal something? I'm like, they're not going to steal something. Like, they definitely wouldn't steal anything. And if they did, they would, like, ruin the reputation forever, and they'd never be able to get another show.
When we plan a tour, we're like, well, what time of year is it going to be, and what's going to have nice weather? It's usually how we'll plan it. It's about sending like 60 emails to every day, and then hopefully getting one or two back from, realistically getting one or two back from like 20 to 25 emails.
I had a rucksack and I had a guitar case, and I would just get on the train and go from place to place and play shows. And some of them were regular shows in bars or whatever, but some of them were like squat shows, some of them were house parties, some of them were like libraries and shit on roofs and houses, whatever. And I was kind of constantly booking myself about 6 weeks ahead of where I was. I slept on the floor a lot. I did a lot of stage shout-outs for places to sleep.
And we probably had like the first 3/4 of the tour all booked before we left. And then you spend like the rest of your tour like booking the rest of your shows while you're on the road. Just like stopping at like Premiere. Like,
That's a pain too.
pain in the ass. Like everyone's just sitting on the computer spending that emails just waiting.
We had 10 people in an 8-passenger van full of volunteers. And we were like, not only do we need a floor to sleep on, we need a floor to sleep on big enough for 10 fucking people. Once we do that, like, we're just nice people, so we usually get along with people unless they're dicks. Like, it's not hard to build a community if you're nice to people and if you're receptive to people's kindness and you appreciate it. There's another 10 minutes, there's another 35 minutes of that if you want to grab one of these Bad Larrys later.
Dakota, man. Dakota's like making like massive